wrote that research has demonstrated that patients don't actually need to think they might have received a working treatment to feel benefit. And like that insight alone could have significant positive impacts for how patients are treated in many different clinical settings in the future. I think one of the examples that you might have given is the early release of patients, which is a very practical operational problem for a lot of health systems.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, yeah, there's so much research on this and it's really like causing a lot of excitement. So there are studies showing that actually if you give people open label placebos, so you actually tell them this is a placebo pill, but you explain the mechanism of the expectation effect. So you explain that it can still have a physiological benefit for the body. That actually people do receive benefits from that without any deception at all. But I think the trial you're talking about kind of takes this a step further. And so this was looking at people who'd undergone heart surgery, quite a traumatic operation. And rather than kind of giving any kind of sham treatment to improve their symptoms, they actually just gave these people psychological therapy, where they tried to kind of mitigate these people's anxieties and concerns and that catastrophic thinking that can often happen, unreasonably negative expectations of what we might experience. So they just tried to allay those fears, and then also set up some kind of realistic but optimistic expectations of how quick their recovery could occur. So they set out a kind of timeline of what they hoped to achieve at each point. And, this was over 4 sessions, I think 2 in person, 2 by telephone. And what they found was that these people left the hospital earlier than people who just had the usual treatment that they would have expected after any kind of surgery. So they left hospital a few days earlier. That's a huge benefit, easily covers the cost of the psychological therapy.
Yeah.
But then actually over the next 6 months, they did seem to recover more quickly too. So they felt that they were able to get back to work more quickly. They scored lower on measures of disability. And we could even see differences in levels of things like bodily inflammation, which, as I've said, is generally quite bad for recovery and can actually, undo some of the good from the surgery. It just makes the healing a lot slower. So yeah, it was very powerful, and it's great to see that actually this is something that could be incorporated into normal kind of medical procedures without any need for any kind of deception. You can actually be very honest with the patients. It's almost just educating them about what's happening with their bodies that can be so powerful.
Yeah.